Thanks for the opportunity, my leader. Look, we all know that we playing against a team that has been very, very difficult, more especially for us, the past 2 seasons. So it's not going to be an easy one. Moreover, we're playing away, they also won their last game 3-1, and that alone tells you the depth that they have in their squad after losing to Morumokaland. So they'll want to proceed to the next round of the competition. There's no doubt about it. And having said that, it's going to be a difficult one.
Thank you, Coach. Let's take questions from the floor, just by show of hands. I'll take the first one. If there are any questions. Okay, let's start with Benji here, Benjamin Nyirenda. Let's pass the microphone.
Coach, as much as we acknowledge that it's going to be a tough game, but this is the only chance of winning a trophy this season for you. Don't you think this is a game that you can go all out and grind the results no matter what?
Thank you so much for the question. Yeah, definitely we are planning to go all out. We're not going to hold back because this is a perfect opportunity for us to go to the next round of this competition.
Next question, Gabo.
Coach, I'm Khalid Sports Coach. Once again, the big three, they've avoided each other going into the quarterfinals. But you rightfully said it's quite tricky playing Royal AM. Immense pressure going into this encounter to deliver, Coach?
Yeah, thanks for the questions. There are no easy games. Whether you're playing against one of the big teams in the country, or you're playing against so-called small teams, and in actual fact they are no longer small teams in the PSL. All the games are difficult. What is very, very key is to plan accordingly and make sure you also profile the oppositions properly.
All right, let's move on to Tsepo on my left-hand side. Tsepo Tobani.
Thanks, Coach. Tsepo from ENC. Looking at the previous match, Morumokaland's same old story, creating chances, scoring one and making a mistake. How was training this week? I'm asking this because I'm sure it must have been frustrating for you. Game number 25. The same mistakes. This week, what did you tell your players ahead of the weekend? Thanks.
Thanks, Pratsepo. Look, we don't stop working hard. There's a lot of positives, like I've always been saying. It's better to create chances rather than you don't create them at all. So at least it gives us one task to focus on in terms of being clinical in front of goals. And we will keep on improving that aspect, in our game, and make sure that we take our chances, in all the remaining games.
Okay, Dami.
Coach Midfield, Romania from Sakraduma. Coach, midway through the season, you said that if we look at Chiefs, you've done away with helicopter football. You play an entertaining brand of football, and often when you start matches, you start it really brightly. We see the Chiefs, and even when you're in the league, we see that the players express themselves, there's flair. However, we have seen that when Chiefs concede, you guys almost lose that confidence that you have, and now your entire game plan goes out of the window. My question to you is, will we get to a point where we see Chiefs who maintain that structure, that belief, even when the chips are down?
Thanks for the question, big man. You are quite, spot on when you said the way we started very brightly. And obviously when you start conceding goals that you shouldn't, be conceding, and you panic a little bit, more especially if that becomes a habit. It's normal. Any other human being, when is in a situation that is trying to avoid it and it happens again, it comes back into play. In his mind as well, he's thinking, what if, because we've been working on those things to try and avoid it, that at all cost, and they keep haunting us, they keep happening, but they're part of the game. Mistakes are part of the game, and you'll always find yourself in that situation when you try to do something right, when you try to do something that you think can help the team. It's when we're in like a rebuilding phase, you try to fix this, then the other thing resurfaces again, then you have to go back and fix it, and it will take some time until the players start enjoying even more, because we don't want them to panic even when we concede, because football is a game of mistakes. Though we try to minimize our mistakes, we still want to keep the same character. When we attack, we still want to keep the same shape, same discipline, and as you said, we can only improve that. At least it gives us a task to work on, to focus on ourselves at the same time, to say, okay, this is what we've been doing, this is what we got right, this is what we can improve on, and what else that is lacking that we need to make sure that we get it right, because at this level, you can't continuously, making costly mistakes time and again. So we're working on it, and I have no doubt we'll get it right.
Okay, let's get the mic to Karabo here.
Thank you, Coach Karabo from SuperSport. Coach, I think you know much better than I do in regards to, the club hasn't won anything in a very long time. And you're going into a quarterfinal that I think is very important in regards to the club winning something. Some players might have nerves, anxious as well, because they want to do good and win, a trophy for this club. How do you manage those expectations from the players? Do you sit them, in a room and tell them, calm down, play a normal game? How do you manage the expectations of them wanting to win something so badly?
Thanks, Prakabza, for the question. Look, we try our level best to make sure that we calm, the nerves of the players time and again. We can only control the space, that we are in. Unfortunately, players are human beings. They also, after training, go home. They meet people who are talking about football, and people who are very, very, supportive to them, and also expect them to perform at their utmost best in each and every game that they take part in. So that alone brings that little bit of pressure, to the players, because they hear what people are saying, and unfortunately, that's the space we cannot control. And I understand at the same time that we're dealing with players that are coming from different environments, different backgrounds, and they've been coached differently as well, and the demands are not the same, so they still adjusting, some of them, and they've also shown a lot of positive, signs in improving on that, but sometimes that lapse of concentration in the game, because of being a Kaizer Chiefs player, you know what is expected from you. So as time goes on, I think everyone will settle in, and you'll see the true colors of these players, and because most of them are the quality players.
Okay, Lorenz and then Temba.
Coach, Ashley is down five goals, all 5 goals in the last 3 games, whether scoring or assisting. So obviously he's one of the players that you mentioned. He's a confidence player. What have you done with him on the training ground or outside of training to just inspire that little bit of confidence? And is he, does he have a different demeanor now, where he's obviously feeling like he can contribute to the goals this season?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Pigman. Look, I think I've already alluded to that, I've already answered, in last week, if I'm not mistaken. Ash as an individual, he comes from a team that was playing mostly in transition. And with us, obviously, it's not only transition. We want to build up from the back. We want to have combinations, in the middle of the park. We want to unlock the oppositions when they form a deep block. And we're trying to help him, to be able to deal with different situations, and you must have seen him now. Actually, from the beginning of the season, if you can look at Ash, he has contributed to a lot of goals that we have scored. He's also, scored, and he's also been a difficult player to deal with whenever he's available and fit. And unfortunately, injuries, did not help him and the club as well. We've lost him when we needed him most in some of the games that were very, very important for us to have him on the field. And that also destabilized the team a little bit, because now we have to change, the dimension, in our attacking that. So I think he has played a very, very huge role, and he's improved, according to me. And he's a different player compared to when he was playing for Stellenbosch. Why I'm saying that, this season, whenever he was available, he played nearly all the games, 90 minutes. And at Stellenbosch, he played 27 games plus, and he was substituted in nearly 95% of the games that he played for them. And obviously they were managing him, and we also have our own way of managing him, because we know how important it is to have him on the field, and more especially with getting the combinations right, with Caleb, Keegan, Duduzi, Saili, and many other players, that have played their part this season. So we're trying by all means to help not only Ash, but everyone, to settle in and understand. Because remember, he was playing, and whenever he scored a goal, maybe not too many people were making noise about him scoring a goal. But here at Kaizer Chiefs, whenever he scores a goal, and then people will give him a praise, and he's expected to score more goals. And that obviously goes to his head, not in a negative way, but as a form of pressure that now I need to make sure that I score again. And that alone, he needs now us, to help him when it comes to that. And his teammates as well, they have to play a huge role in making sure, because they are the ones who are on the field all the time. We can only give instructions and prepare the team, but they are the ones that use their own discretions on the field. So I think he's done well so far, and he'll keep on doing well, because he's a level-headed boy. His focus, his discipline, and I see him, prospering and becoming one of the best players, in the team and for the country in future.
Okay, quick one, Temba.
You had to ask for your friend. Coach, I just need to find out something from you. The one thing that you've mastered as Kaizer Chiefs, which is what your weapon right now, is speed going forward. Most of the teams cannot cope with the speed when you're in attack. But on the defensive midfield, there's a young Arthur Zwane there. You took a risk and you played that young man there. And so far, he's been on point. What do you think makes Samgelo to be where he is now, and how far is he from being, say, a Negomasha, a
of the past, even a Katsande, without kicking anyone, but just being a Katsande of the midfield of Kaizer Chiefs?
Thanks for the question, Brati. I think when I look at Samgele is something else for me. Not because of we have developed him, as a club, but he's got a rare quality in him. His technical ability and execution is second to none, and that will always make him a special player, because we are lacking such players in South Africa that can be able to pinpoint and 40 meter pass, and also be still creative and be able to take risk at the back to unlock the oppositions. Most of the defensive midfielders, they keep it simple. Obviously they don't want to lose the ball in critical areas of the field where we can end up being punished. And you'll recall we ended up deploying one of our former players, Njabulo Blom, who gave us stability and fighting in the middle just to protect the back four or the central area, on the field, just to make life difficult for the oppositions not to penetrate us through the middle. And he did very well. Njabulo, unfortunately, Njabulo had to go for greener pastures, and we had to look at a model, soccer player that can make us tick, that can also help the defense, and when it comes to that, he's still lacking in that aspect, because that's not him. But whenever he has the ball, the more we on the ball, that means we'll defend less. He use the ball very, very wisely. He knows when to pass the ball, in which areas to pass the ball, in order for us to hit the oppositions. And you also have someone like Cole. Unfortunately, Cole has been injured. It's only now that has started training. We had Nange as well, who's been, injury prone, and also having challenges with his own personal life in terms of, losing a close family member. So all those things, those are key players. I'm talking about senior players that we needed them. Unfortunately, they were not available because of unforeseen, circumstances. And when I said this has been the most difficult season, that's what I meant. That we couldn't keep the consistent starting lineup because of that. Mostly our senior players were not available because of injuries. And whenever you thought they were ready, to come in and add value, and then one or two, will be out for another 2 or 3 months, and from maybe practice matches, and we couldn't control that, unfortunately, and that was the unfortunate part. And then it gave Samgolo the opportunity to shine, and we are grooming him, we are helping him to settle in. And because earlier on we didn't want to put him under pressure, and unfortunately he's in the thick of things right now, and he has to lead, and with the support of other senior players on the field, and even those who are not playing, they give him the support that he needs, and that's the plus that we have in this squad.
Okay, sorry, Velile, and then Mr. Sfiso Ramana.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Coach. I just wanted to talk about your goalkeeping department. I was listening recently to a commentator who was talking about how Chiefs has faced fewer number of attacks, but from that resulted number of attacks, the ratio of the goals that have been scored are too much. And Chiefs is a team in the past that has had a very strong goalkeeping department, especially in goalkeeping coaching. And I look at some of the mistakes that have been made by the goalkeepers, all the goalkeepers that have been made, some elementary mistakes, some things that we expect that will be improved from a coaching perspective on the goalkeeping side. is this a concern to you? I listened to you last week when you talk about these elementary mistakes, but these would include the defenders, but specifically with goalkeeping. What can you say about the goalkeeping department this season?
Thanks, Praveen, for the question. I think that's one department that has always been strong, in the team. And unfortunately, this season we find ourselves in the situation where we're conceding cheap goals. But it's not only goalkeepers, our defense as well. And I'm glad that you also mentioned sort of like stats. We are one team that is always on the forefront, and our keepers, they don't usually, hectic, busy at the back there because of we don't allow teams, to penetrate us, easily. But unfortunately, whenever we make a mistake, we get punished, and we make costly mistakes. If I'm not mistaken, and maybe some of us, here in this room will attest to that. 80%, if not 90% of the goals that we considered this season, we scored for the oppositions. We gave them a manna from heaven. They did not work hard, and whenever we apply ourselves correctly, we make life difficult. And that is why even our goalkeepers at some point, they become too relaxed because the oppositions are not, challenging them that much. But unfortunately, whenever we make a mistake, then we get punished. And I can name teams where we gave points away, where we scored for them from deflection. The ball will fall on their path, and then they will score. Not that the defense was disorganized. We were organized, But on the day you are just unfortunate, and then you concede. And then before maybe that happened, you look at the game as well, how many chances you must have missed. I'm talking about games that sometimes you need luck, and people don't understand when I say luck. I've seen teams that the keeper saved, them where they should have lost maybe 2-1. They score one, then they win 1-0. But when you look at the oppositions, the chances that they created, clear-cut chances, unfortunately on the day for the oppositions, but for the team that wins the game on the day, the keeper kept them in the game, and it comes with luck as well. It comes with luck. You need that. You work hard. Obviously, when you work hard, you create your own luck, So on our side, we've been unfortunate when it comes to that. We look at the goal we considered last from awkward angle. I was actually shocked when I saw the ball, in the net. I thought the ball was maybe it hit the side net or So, but those are things that are happening in the game, and it's the reality. It's a fact, and it poses a challenge to us. And as I said, we can't only blame the defenders or blame the goalkeepers. The entire team, and me as well as the head coach, I'm responsible to make sure that we change things for the better. But our forwards, we start defending with them. They have to make sure that when we lose the ball, we regroup or we counter press. We don't allow the opposition to penetrate us, through the middle. But when you look at the previous game that we played, or many other teams that we played recently, they don't want to build up. They just move the ball, between the keeper and then center back, and then they launch it forward. They play from the second balls, because they know they are forced now to play. If they try to play, they're gonna have to move with the ball, and they also create space for us to punish them. So they try and make sure that they have bodies that can cover that space whenever we regain position, because we've got players that can easily head them or get to the final third entry, very, very quick.
Okay, due to time, I'll only allow one more, and that's Mr. Omar.
Yeah, Coach, I'm here. Yeah, you only a few games away from lifting this trophy. And at the same time, I know you're chasing to finish on the number 2 spot. Which one is more important for the club? Thank you.
thanks Mhlonishwa Ramara. Ngiyabona so pick up hayi siyabona. Look, my leader, we don't choose games. No, Kaizer Chiefs, you play to win every game. So as much as we want to finish the position 2, we still want to win the cup as well, and that has been the culture of the club. The history of the club is always been about winning things. Silverware is more especially for our supporters and the club. We know, so we take every game, very, very serious. So we are not going to select games or to say no, we need this one is much better. Actually, this one is more important than the other. All the games, the only thing that you can do is to juggle the squad around if needs be. But the focus is to make sure that we finish as high as possible, and also make sure that we go all the way to the final and win it. We want to win it. We want to win everything, actually.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to end